everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm here for another episode of Spoilers with Friends with Ann. And today we're going to discover the movie As Above, So Below. So Ann, do you have some opening thoughts on this movie?
Well, I first saw this movie in a theater alone. No one would go with me, and apparently no one in my town wanted to see it that day either. So I sat in a dark theater by myself, except for an usher scaring the heck out of me a couple of times. And that does add to the scariness of any movie. So I had a good experience with it. But even as I was watching it, I thought, story's kind of dumb, but I like it. And I own it now, and I've probably seen it 20 times.
Okay.
Good atmosphere.
I've watched it on, I don't know if it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but I've watched it 3 or 4 times and enjoyed it. The main character does kind of carry on the tradition of having horror movie main characters being really annoying. Her name is Perdita, which means lost, so maybe that's supposed to be symbolic. She is some really young with multiple degrees and speaks lots of ancient languages, and she's just barreling down this, her career where she's going to do all this stuff. And her very first scene is her someone sneaking her into Iraq or Iran or somewhere, Afghanistan, where she isn't supposed to go. And she's going to try to find these clues, of course, that are under the ground, and it's all about to be blown up in some kind of explosion. And she manages to get some clue before she gets blown up. And then somehow we don't know how, then sneak out of the country with this. Yeah. So she ends up then in Paris, where she has to get some more clues. So yeah, she does meet this guy who she knows from the past. And I did read an article about a group that does what he does. In the movie, he's somebody who breaks into buildings and fixes things. And apparently there's really a group in Paris that does that. So if your museum has something there that doesn't work, like a clock or some kind of machine.
Time machine.
Time machine, who knows what, and you come in one day and it's fixed. That's apparently some clandestine group that does that. They will break into in buildings and fix stuff. So the guy in the movie does have a sort of job that actually seems to be a thing.
Cool.
Now he has some sense. He's not planning to actually be in the movie for the rest of the movie. He's like, yeah, you go do that dangerous stuff, and I'm not going to do that. But of course he ends up doing that. So, how he gets involved then and gets suckered in is part of the opening part, and part of how annoying this woman is, because she keeps dragging him around doing stuff. Not paying much attention to rules and regulations and laws, because to get her second clue, she takes something off a wall and starts dumping cleaning fluid on it. Yeah, thanks for destroying somebody's artifact they had, on the wall there, but yeah, sure.
She doesn't seem to worry about collateral damage very much either. She doesn't care who she takes down with her. She's after the Philosopher's Stone.
Right.
So, it's a big prize.
Yeah, right. Let's turn everything into gold. I did the first Harry Potter book, which was, Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, which I thought was funny that when they released it in the United States, they had to change it, right? I guess they don't think any of us know what the Philosopher's Stone is. So was that Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Yeah, I learned it from Scrooge McDuck, I'll tell you that. I have it, and they still have this comic book, but that's apparently Scrooge McDuck wanted it and sent his nephews out to find it or something, and so I learned about the Philosopher's Stone from Scrooge McDuck.
Doesn't matter where you learn it.
Yeah.
I probably learned it from Mad Magazine. That's where I learned most things when I was a kid.
Yeah. So she wants it. Her father was looking for it. Now she's looking for it. And you got to find it by going into the catacombs under Paris. So that would be cool to go to. Unfortunately, when I was in Paris, they were closed because some tourist had been an idiot and graffitied something. And so they had shut it down and try to clean things up. And at the time, it was when I was reading articles about it, I was like, well, they're going to reopen it again because of the damages and stuff. And it's crap, I'm going to go all the way to Paris. I'm not going to get to see the catacombs.
Yeah.
But they are open again, I believe. So if I ever make it back to Paris, maybe I can go. But
cool.
When I was there, I could not see them. However, the film crew was allowed to go down into the catacombs and film the movie. So they are actually filmed on location.
Yeah.
Which
and I've read a couple of articles about how they filmed it, and they actually burnt that car in the catacombs, and that was a very difficult scene to do. But I think that's part of what makes the atmosphere of it. The tunnels, the spookiness, almost the whole movie is in the catacombs, and it's well done.
Yeah, and the catacombs are, I don't remember how many hundreds or thousands of miles of catacombs there are. There's just a little bit that's open to tourists.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds and hundreds of miles that, yeah, no one sees on a regular basis. So the other main character who gets sort of suckered into this is the guy who apparently spends his time going down into the catacombs and the parts that people aren't allowed in, so that, he's also breaking into things that you're not supposed to be in.
Yeah.
But he's then the guide that's going to help them get in. So she goes down there looking for the Philosopher's Stone, and of course, to begin with, she's not only an idiot, but she has the completely wrong idea what the Philosopher's Stone is, which is, I guess, in a way cool, because then she has to figure it out later that she was wrong the whole time.
Yeah, and it's almost like what is it, the Sumerian in Nana's descent into the underworld, where there's all these different tasks that they have to do and obstacles. They've got to crawl through bones, and they've got to rappel down holes and through water and all different kinds of things to find.
Yeah, solve riddles.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I was just talking about it. The Ptolemaic hinge idea of the Indiana Jones style thing, that if you pick up that thing, or you move that rock, or you try to go through that wall, you're going to die. And you have to figure out exactly what the right combination is, so you don't get crushed by stones or an arrow in the face or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so fortunately, our main character can read a bunch of ancient languages, and
sure,
helps her a lot,
and whatever she can't read, the other guy can.
So yeah, they can do that. And we do get a few hints relatively early on when she's in the tunnels that there's going to be something weird going on, because they hear a phone ringing on a couple of occasions. Some dude pops up who was lost in the catacombs years earlier, and now he's just there. So weird things start to happen.
Yeah, pretty quickly once they get inside, because Papillon tells her there's some passages that are just bad.
Yeah.
And she doesn't accept that. She's scientific, and she doesn't accept that something can just be evil, which, of course, she's wrong. Like in every other horror movie.
Yeah.
He finds out.
But then, of course, she keeps solving all these riddles. And so, he'll say things like, well, there's no tunnel back there. And she's like, well, there must be because of blah, 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 and then she starts scrabbling at the walls, and suddenly, oh, she's right. There's another tunnel. And so, she does get to be right on a few things, but then they find what they think they're looking for, and unfortunately, as what usually happens, somebody then sees something shiny and golden and decides they're going to grab it, right? And then we get it was really a trap. So now they have the ceiling coming down on them, and they have to keep going. And so, but it's kind of fun that she also has these nightmares about her father.
Yeah, everybody in there has nightmares. They start seeing all their worst nightmares, things they should feel guilty about, or that they do feel guilty about and shouldn't.
Yeah, so some guy's little kid brother drowns, and he keeps seeing him, and yeah, so there's the caverns and whatever's in there is obviously playing off of their fears, and doing a pretty good job of that. So by the time we get toward the end, we're down several characters now, keeping fewer people to keep track of. And there's some really cool scenes. That I think the flaming car scene is actually pretty cool. So I assume that I don't know what they were burning down there, but it's
I don't know.
Magic movie fire. Never had.
I don't know, and maybe, and I read one article that said they actually filmed that scene in the catacombs. So I don't know how they did that, or if that was correct. but it was on the internet. It must be true.
Well, in the movies, flames never have smoke, so because you don't want to suddenly not be able to see the scene, right? So, while I'm watching, I'm thinking, man, if that was like an actual like car fire.
No one would be able to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or magic car fire where somebody gets sucked into the ground. So
Yeah. So there are some really cool things there.
and there's people in the walls, and there's bones, and there's water that turns into blood, and there's a dead Templar.
Yeah,
There's a dead guy in a tomb.
It's I don't know. There's like, it seems like cultists, but I'm not quite sure exactly.
Yeah, and they never talk about who those people are. Just weird people.
Yeah,
singing weird songs, wearing weird makeup.
Yeah,
but they definitely add to the spooky factor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, at this point, I think the two cool things toward the end. One, when she figures out she's wrong, and then she has to figure out that, oh, if I'm gonna do what I need to do now because I was wrong the first time, I can basically start over, right? So she has to run like all the way back to where the ceiling collapsed in on them, and then figure out the last bit, and then get all the way back to where she's left a couple of friends toward the end of the catacombs. So she does have this little like singular journey there and back. And then what I think is really cool is because it's as above, so below. So at some point in the middle of the movie, they have like entered a mirror version of the catacombs and of Paris. So when they finally leave this mirror version, they have to like climb out of the manhole.
Yeah.
Kind of like, because now it's as if gravity, I guess, we're in the pavement, right? Because when they're on the underside, they're upside down, but then when they have to climb up around into the actual Paris, then to get right side up, then it's kind of
once they get to the midway point, they have to go down to go up.
Yeah. So they do, at least a couple of them do manage to survive the movie. And yay, they're back in Paris. Now, I don't know if our heroine is going to learn anything from this experience.
Yeah, it just kind of ends. They get out of the hole and they're done.
They hug. There's a group hug.
Yeah.
And they all walk away.
And the one guy that's not, like, he was one of the team that was with Papillon that habitually broke into the catacombs. He's just like, I'm out of here. See you later. He just goes away.
Yeah. So ultimately, though, obviously both of us have watched it multiple times. So as far as a watchable horror movie, if you can get past, especially early in the movie before the weird stuff starts happening, if you can get around the woman being so damn annoying. Yeah,
she's irritating, and she's like a smaller version of Lara Croft. she's but it's a type of character, where she's got an IQ of 200 and was pushed as a child because her dad wanted her to have 17 degrees by the time she was 16. And she speaks everything and can, of course, swim, rappel, do caving, translate ancient things, and do all kinds of other fun stuff. And she's fearless. I'll give her that.
But yeah, she keeps dragging everyone in her wake, and of course, die. So
it's a lot of people killed.
Mm-hmm. Which is another, I guess, horror movie tradition.
Yeah, I mean, who watches a horror movie and thinks everybody's going to come out alive? That's kind of
that would be
kind of Pollyanna.
Yeah, if you put out a comment, if you know of any horror movie where no one dies, there might be one. I don't know, but
I'd have to think a long time about that.
All right, so how many creepy doll heads would you give to As Above, So Below?
I'd give it a 4.
4? Okay, you're gonna mark it down just for any particular reason, or
just because of the silliness of the premise? But I don't know. It's probably unfair.
It's a subjective scale. All right, so 4 creepy doll heads for As Above, So Below. So definitely, if you have a chance to see it, and you like that kind of movie, take an hour and a half of your time, watch it. It's worth it.
It is fun. You just can't take it very seriously. But if you're taking any horror movie too seriously, you probably got a problem anyway. If you get a chance to see it in a theater all alone, do it. It's really scary.
All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of Spoilers with Friends. We'll see you next time. Remember to hit like and subscribe, share this video around, hit the bell notifications, leave some comments. We'd like to hear what kind of movies you like, or if you like this movie or didn't like this movie. Our creepy doll head scale is entirely up to us, and your scale may be quite different. So,
and even my scale might be different on a different day, but
quite such.
I really liked it. I'll say that.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.